I quit my UK career and, well, my life in the UK to move to Slovakia. It wasn't an easy decision, but it taught me many things about myself, especially what it means, what success really means to me. So if you're thinking about either moving country or maybe changing your job or your career path, then maybe this video will help you decide whether it might be right for you or not. So first off, let's talk about how it started. So I was in the UK, I enjoyed my job, I was passionate about the industry and what I was doing, but unfortunately they were not open for remote working. Now, as I was in a long distance relationship, that was kind of a deal breaker for me. I wanted to be with my partner. And also I started to get tired of the situation in the UK, the work-life balance, everything like this, because it just felt like just constantly working, and it was just always on my mind, even outside of the office. And yeah, so this kind of got to me after some time, you kind of feel a bit burnt out, and yeah, I just felt like a change of scenery. I really wanted a change of scenery. Whilst I absolutely love my job, but because there was no remote opportunity, I decided to look around. So let's talk about the job hunt and how easy or not so easy it was to change from UK to Slovakia. Well, first and foremost, I do not have a university degree, right? I never went to university. And in Slovakia, it's actually free to go to university. Not everyone has a degree, but it is free to get their university education. So more people tend to have degrees, especially with the industry and the roles I was applying for. It was mandatory in a lot of the applications to have a degree. So I really, really struggled with this application part. So for me, when it was trying to go from UK to Slovakia, this job hunt part was arguably one of the hardest parts about moving in general to Slovakia. The emotional side was more of an issue for me, which I've touched on in another video, which you can feel free to check out. I'll link in the description and maybe in the pinned comment. But in terms of the logistics and the practical side of things, this was one of the most difficult parts. I was applying to well over 100 jobs and not hearing back from very, very little. I mean, it was even less than 5 jobs out of the total, over 100 jobs I applied for, that I even heard back from. And from those, I got some interviews. So eventually, after about 3 months, I think it was, of applying, I finally got something. And also, with applying for jobs, it wasn't just the fact about a university degree. Another big factor was also language barrier. So I was applying to roles in both Vienna and Bratislava. And naturally in both, I had language issues because I don't speak German and I don't speak Slovak. And this is something you should bear in mind. If you do want to move abroad, there will likely be a language barrier issue. So I would highly recommend learning as much as possible before you go. If in your role, it's highly likely you'll need it. For me, in most cases, English is normally the business language. And it is with the job that I finally got in the end. But in many cases, it will limit your options because language is important. With that said, let's talk about the lessons learned from this change, and then I'll talk about some practical advice for you. So if you're looking to move abroad and change career, then you'll have some real practical advice on what you could do so that you'd be way ahead of what I was. And then lastly, we move into my honest assessment and my honest thoughts of whether it was the right decision and the best decision necessarily for me in terms of my career. So first off, I want to talk about salary. Now, my salary has actually improved. My salary has improved from the UK to Slovakia. It's got better. But with that, I've come to realize that salary isn't everything. I know it's cliche, you'll hear it all the time. Salary isn't everything. But in honesty, with this for me, it really has emphasized that point. Because I'm not doing something I'm as passionate about. And to be honest, I would rather do something I'm more passionate about with less money. Because you get more enjoyment from it. If you're not really that passionate about it, you're kind of just going through the motions a little bit more. I mean, it's your job, so you're still take it seriously, but it doesn't feel like play. It doesn't have that oomph, right? I'm more thinking, I've got work again. Whereas in my previous job, I was more like excited for the next day and to be getting my hands on the next project, to delve deeper and to really think creatively about how I will solve these different problems. It's also made me realize that in terms of the salary and what I want to do for a job, it's made me more want to align on my own personal purpose and to focus on more of my own fulfillment. As in, does what I do in terms of the industry align with me personally? Does it align with what I want to do? Does it align with the area I want to work in? The energy and the different things that I want to put into the world, does it align with that? And then that brings into the question of, if you're not doing something that aligns with something that's core to you, like the betterment of others, or you want to do something that helps people, whatever, then that's a problem, right? Because if you're not aligning with your core fundamentals, then you're really going through the motions and you're purely doing it for money. So for me, one of the main things I noticed is purpose is so vitally important for our work, because we're spending most of our time at work, right? We're not at home. We're not doing the things we want to do. We're at work. So we need to be aligned with it. We need to enjoy it. And then by extension of that, I think growth and development within our roles, within work, is also important. Because if we're not learning new skills, new tools, new technologies, then we are stagnating. We are not adapting. We're not improving ourselves. We're not making ourselves more secure, more beneficial, which hinders us, right? Because if new technology is coming, if different things happen, then we can't adapt. We will be left behind. So this is why I think it's really important that companies also provide these growth opportunities, these courses, these conferences, whatever it might well be, so that you can develop yourself further. And that's why I have enjoyed my time in both job roles, because both in the UK and here in Slovakia, I've been able to have these growth opportunities. There has been some development, right? There's been some courses and different things. So I want to also give you some helpful information and some potential action points that you can have, so that you know what you can maybe do to help you if you're looking to make such a big move. And the job front, because ultimately this is going to be one of the key areas when moving abroad. How are you going to earn money? So first off, I would recommend building a bit of a network. So if you use such a platform like LinkedIn, I would highly recommend you try and find maybe recruiters in your area of industry or your role, whatever, and you try and connect to them. This is something that I did before moving, and I was reaching out to them to see if they knew of any roles or if they could bear me in mind. I sent the CV and a brief about me and basically said, look, if you have any questions, please let me know, and please just bear me in mind if you have any roles that you think would be relevant for me. I would, of course, mention that try learning the language. As I said earlier, try learning the language as soon as possible. If you're planning on moving to a country where you don't speak the language, then I highly recommend trying to learn it to a certain level before going. This is something that I kind of wish I did more, to be honest. But if it's going to be critical for the potential roles you're going to be applying for, then you should absolutely do it. Because for sure, you're going to have a lot more opportunities, no doubt. Because, of course, if you speak English, that helps. But speaking the local language, that's going to help even more. I also recommend that you try to save up to maybe 3 to 4 months of expenses. And then this way, if it does take some time to land the job, that you're going to be secure. And also, this will help you for potential deposits for a new place, documents, and any legal stuff that you need to sort out. And also, I'd say you should prepare to potentially even take a step backwards. You might not be able to stay in a similar sort of position, so you might have to take a step backwards in order to move abroad. So that's something you should also bear in mind.
So you should ensure that you're already in that headspace that, you know, you're coming to learn, you're coming to grow, and it's more for chasing a better life. So you might have to take a step backwards to move forwards.
So with that said, let's go into my honest assessment. First and foremost, I want to say I am glad I made the move to Slovakia because it's improved me in many areas. In terms of like my confidence, my risk taking, my communication skills, and in general, the way I look at life now. I'm much more of a well-rounded person, and I can be much more empathetic towards others because I've now experienced different ways of living, and I'm more open to other sort of cultures, and my mind's more open to really understand others. And I'm so thankful for that because I always thought myself as someone who wants to understand others and embraces everyone, but it's different being able to actually be in those other cultures and be present with them. It's given me so much growth and learning over this time. Like I mentioned before, it's really improved my communication skills and my management of stakeholders and different things like this, which I would not have had before. So in terms of the growth and personal development, professional development, it was the right decision in that regard. However, for me, I probably would like to return to my old position, to my old job, or at least to a similar industry and with similar responsibilities to what I had before. Because I felt a real purpose and a drive and a belonging to it. I felt more present, more involved, and I wanted that because it was more personal to me, right? It was something I was passionate about. Whereas in this other role, since moving to Slovakia, I'm not passionate about it. I don't feel a sense of belonging, and it's something that I want to improve this. I want to make this better. You know, it's not a personal drive. It's not something that's a longing for me, so to speak. It's not something I'm passionate about. So I would love to jump into something I'm passionate about again. That being said, these are my thoughts, and this has been my impressions and how it's affected me in terms of switching careers and like how I see success now. That now I would actually prefer less salary, but something that's more meaningful to me than something that's not. There's some things that I'm not passionate about. I think when I was younger, I used to think more all about salary. If it pays well, it doesn't matter. But now as I'm getting older, I think more about our time and how I want to spend it. We spend most of our time working, so we should enjoy it. We need to enjoy it. We need to be passionate about it. And that makes the time whilst working more enjoyable. You want to be there. You want to engage with people there. You want to engage with your colleagues. You want to engage with the product or the industry, the role, whatever. Your responsibility is more. So that's been my main takes. So if you're looking or thinking about a career change or maybe making a big move such as moving abroad, then comment below and let me know what it is you're thinking about doing and any support or what's holding you back from making that decision. I'd love to know your thoughts. And with that being said, I hope this video has been helpful. If it has, please do leave a like, as it really does help out the channel. And like I said, if you'd like to know more about a more emotional aspect and how moving abroad can really affect you, such as having loneliness, then watch this video next, as I will dive deeper into the emotional aspect and how moving abroad isn't all sunshine and rainbows. It is difficult. I'll see you over there. Take care. Bye-bye.